Good morning, everyone. This is our weekly outlook, and this is something we do every Monday morning. And then the goal here is basically to um, study the markets, observe what's going to happen news-wise, fundamental-wise in the week. What has happened, probably some of the things that happened previously, and what prospects we see in the market this week, right? A lot of the market is driven by fundamentals. But when there is no fundamentals driving the market, technicals kick in, all right? And sometimes technicals and fundamentals work together and play out, and then price tends to play out in a predetermined way, right? But sometimes there's some surprise in the market, fundamentals come really hard into the market, and you see some very, very massive movements, support resistance levels, demand supply levels are literally broken, and price just go haywire, right? Changing direction of markets or pushing markets even further in the current direction, right? So what we want to observe is what is it that's likely to drive the market this week, bring volatility into the market this week, and then be able to position ourselves to take advantage of those moves or to stay out of the way of those moves, because that's what we always want to find out. Can we step into the move, or do we step out of the move? It's always important to know when to get in, and also important as also knowing when not to get in, you know. So that's what we are about today. So we're going to start by looking at what's been happening in the markets and what is it that the fundamental side of things looks like today, how the fundamental side of things look today, right? Not just today, but for the week. So you can see this is Monday. We don't have any major news event. On Tuesday, we have CPI data for Canada, CPI data for Canada. And then we also have last week we had CPI for the US. Last week we had CPI data for the US. For this week we have CPI data for Canada. Then we have core retail sales. Now CPI is inflation data. And whenever inflation data is coming out, it's the market listens and watches for it, right? Now we've said before there are three main data points that tends to move markets the most. Inflation, otherwise known as CPI, consumer price index, interest rates, or employment. So these are the three major data that move the market the most. They are not the only ones that move markets, but they tend to move markets the most. All right. So because of that, we pay attention to them a whole lot. And whenever we see data around that, we want to pay attention to it. Now, on Tuesday, like I said, we have core retail sales for the US. The retail sales is basically sales that goes through the retail sector. And that is something that measures a lot of how much the consumer in the US are spending money, right? Now, the way the developed economies work is that when people spend money, the businesses boom, and then the economy prospers. Why do I say developed nations? Because for developed nations, the consumers are strong, which means that people are wealthy and they can afford to spend a lot and buy things. But in countries that are not very developed, you find out that most spending might come from government, right? Most spending comes from government. But for deep economies, really solid economies, most spending comes from the individuals, right? That's why you see very expensive cars, expensive clothes, and all of that, expensive brands get bought get bought more in countries where there's a lot of wealth, right? But when you come to developing countries, you find out that governments spend the most, right? So in the US, about 69% of the spending of the GDP of the US is done by individuals, human beings, right? The citizens of America. So if the citizens are strong, they are doing well, there's employment, they have money, it means that businesses will boom, the economy will boom. Why? Because they will spend more. Okay. Now, if the economy is not good and they are losing jobs, they are not very confident in the future, they tend to hold back and not spend. And when they don't spend, what that does is that, or they are afraid of spending, what that does is that businesses that will normally boom by the spending of these individuals will not boom, and then the economy begins to drag down. So that's why anything that relates to how the consumer in the US is behaving or is likely to behave will tend to be a very important data. Okay. Um, core retail sales is we measure the sales across retail sector. If that number is decreasing, that will tell you something. If that number is increasing, that will tell you something. Now you can see retail sales now last month was 0.5%. The forecast for this month is 0.2%. So whereas the forecast that retail sales is going to drop, which means people are going to spend less in the retail space. That is not good for the economy. That is not good as an outlook for the US, and that's not good for the companies that are into retail. You see? So all of that is what we play into. That's the thinking behind the data when we talk about the data, right? Then we have on Wednesday. On Wednesday is actually the most important day in this week in the fundamental market because we have FOMC. FOMC is the Federal Open Market Committee, is the federal, we call it the Federal Reserve of the US, and then it's like the Central Bank of America. They have this committee that's comprised the Federal Reserve Chairman and several other governors of the central banks across different states in the US. They come together and they tend to decide what to do with interest rates. And because America is a very significant economy, and then the dollar is a reserve currency of the world, whenever something like interest rate gets debated in the US or reduced or increased and stuff, or even left the same way, anytime there's an FOMC meeting, it sends a certain signal to the market. Okay, it sends a certain signal to the market. So we're expecting FOMC on Wednesday, and the Federal Reserve of the US Central Bank is expected to reduce interest rate from 4.5% to 4.25%. That's a 25 basis. We call it that's a 0.25% drop or cut in rates. And that is going to be very, very volatile for the markets. So that's something to keep an eye on Wednesday evening. Then on Thursday, you have some employment data also for Australia. Then we have interest rate data again for the UK. Then on Friday, you have interest rate data for Japan. So this week is packed with a whole lot of data, you know. So let's look at, and whenever the week is packed like this, you want to make sure that you're watching the data. As you're trading fundamentals or you're trading technicals, you want to be keeping an eye on what is the news saying, where is a particular news coming out. When is the particular news event coming out, right? Let's say you want to trade tomorrow, CAD, and mostly you're going to be trading, and you want to trade CAD pairs, let's say CAD, USD CAD, CAD JPY. You want to make sure you are watching what happens at 1:30. And also core retail sales. If you're trading USD CAD, USD is there, CAD is there. And that news is coming out by 1:30. You want to watch what happens there. So you can't just be trading anyhow. You have to keep your eyes on the news. All right. So let's quickly look at the technical side of things and see what's going on here. Um, so we'll start by looking at the dollar index. The dollar index has been very weak for a long time. And since Trump came in, the dollar index have just been collapsing. The dollar index is an index that measures the strength or weakness of the US dollar. So it's very important. What it does matters a lot. It determines what certain other currencies do. Okay. So the dollar index has been very weak. You can see it's still selling currently. And if the dollar is selling, that means we should be seeing buy opportunities in Euro USD, buy opportunities in Euro USD. I think I marked this sometime last week. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this in a session we had, but this was exactly where I was looking to get on this trade, and the price literally got into that place and then began to buy. So that was really a good move there. How many pips? I think that this was over 50 pips, I think. At least 50 or 40 pips. No, okay. This is actually over 40 pips right here. That was the move that we anticipated. And we can see that playing out. We also expect that price is going to move all the way to this up 20 around the 1.17700. That will be a level that we'll expect price to reach before it probably falls back again or whatever it does. But if this move would have been completed. So we had an opportunity for entry here, and we had another opportunity for entry here. So, but price has already moved, and we expect this to come. So when that happens, we'll now know where market is going next. We might see price breakout because for the Federal Reserve meeting that's happening on Wednesday, we are expecting the dollar to sell. We're expecting US dollar to sell. And if dollar sells, we will see strong buys in Euro USD because Euro USD has this inverse relationship with the dollar index. Euro USD in gold, GBP USD, BTC, and so on. So all of those is what we're expecting to happen. Euro USD, we expect Euro USD to push right up here to around the 1.1770 level. This would have been a good point for entry. This is a good point for entry, but price has already moved. So we're going to just leave price. So if we somehow get some more opportunity, maybe a pullback from here also to enter again, but I do not really see that opportunity as important as that as such a great opportunity, right? Usually in trading, when you miss a trade, the best thing is just move on to another trade. Right? See what else we have for gold. Let's see, do we have anything on gold? Gold has been ranging. Gold is not so clear at the moment. Not so clear at the moment, so we're going to leave gold alone. See what else we have. GBP USD. GBP USD. We have a resistance level here, which should be broken. Okay, so price is currently hitting the resistance level there. Price hit that point and turned back before. It's currently hitting it. Very likely to break out. If it breaks out, that's a good thing. Okay. But then we will still keep an eye and see what happens here. Price needs to break out or pull back for us to know what next to do with this trade. For the moment, we don't know. It's not so clear. BTC is another instrument that's really been in a range. Basically, we're expecting BTC to drop down to this level, here before we see a buy. That's something we're going to give you updates on the group because this is not happening. This has not happened yet. Price is still heading downwards. Expect price to continue to head downwards to this level here. And once price gets in here, we should be expecting to see a very bullish movement, very, very bullish movement. We should be expecting price to get into this level here, and then we should expect a very strong bullish move. Very, very strong bullish move from here. So that's what I'll be expecting to see on BTC. And lots of opportunities that play out within the week. Currently are not fully set up, so we'll keep an eye on those. Gold, we don't have something clear for gold at the moment. Euro USD also, that has already moved. We have BTC. BTC is still coming down because we expect that to sell before it buys. All that is what we're waiting for right now. We do not currently have a trade from this session. We have some trades. I think we have some trades we dropped in the group already this morning. So if you are not on our Telegram group, please make sure that you get on the Telegram group, and then so that you can follow up on all the signals that we give you on the group right there. Okay, very, very important. Oh, okay. trade alerts. So today we're giving you a sell signal on GBP USD. We're giving you a sell signal on GBP. Okay. So these are some of the trades we've given out already. So what you need to do is keep your eye on the Telegram group, and when we give you a buy trade or a pending order for buy, please take it. Okay. Yeah. So and other trade setup, we'll give you further updates in the group, and then we'll be able to send those trades out to you. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we will do, and yeah, because we do not really have any trades right now at this moment setting up. At this moment, no, we don't have. So since we do not have, we are going to exercise patience and wait for the right trades to come along. So we do as traders, we exercise patience and wait for the right trades to come along. Okay. I will end the class here. Like I said, we will give you further updates in the group. Further updates in the group as to the next trades you need to take and all. But check the group right now. I think we've given out some trades already, so that for those trades you can just watch for them straight. And like I said, further updates are coming in the group as well concerning trades and other trading signals day and within the week. Okay. Thank you guys. I'll see you on Wednesday for another session.